Welcome, Blayne Smith, warmly greeting you for another Overkill Reviews, BangerTV's weekly metal review show. Hey, nice to see you. As always, if you like me, you can follow me on twitch.tv/metalcomedy, where I play video games and listen to metal. And if you like the content Banger produces, we hope you'd consider supporting us on Patreon. We got a Patreon campaign. You can go over there, give us some cash so we can keep cranking out all this metal content for you. Because we're listening to the metal anyways, we want to talk to you about it. Oh, and speaking of metal, why not listen to some? And hey, I promise not to make any hate, pun, band name jokes. Have a listen. You guessed it because it was in the title of the video. This is a review for Hate, who are releasing Auric Gates of Veles today. Or wait, Tuesday is today. So on Friday they released it on Metal Blade Records. So hey, what are they about? Well, they formed in 1990, 1991, sort of. You know, bands, they bounce around with band names. In Poland. They're a death metal band that has blackened over the years. There's two kind of core members to the band now. There's Adam the First Sinner, who handles guitars, keys, vocals, and Pavlon on drums, because drums are hard and you generally get another guy to do that. There's also two session basses on the album, Damen and Termes, because hey, Adam has enough on his plate. How many things do you want this guy doing? This is their 11th album coming out because they're Polish. Poles roll into places and get shit done. But enough information, time for a review. The first thing that jumps out at me when I listen to this is Hate are still nailing that evil sound in a big way. The opener for the record starts with like 15 seconds of wispiness, and then you get some weenie black metal guitars and just Adam coming in with Covenant of Tyrants seething with rage, just like, whoa, we're doing this. We're in it. It's a really aggressive sound, and I gotta compliment the vocals because they're as vile and aggressive as you'd want them to be, but he somehow nails a clarity where you don't have to strain and hear the lyrics. But the biggest ragey part of the record comes from the shifted directions of the drums. They're reinforcing here that they are, first and foremost, a death metal band, and we're getting some death metal drums. It's just a lot of pretty staggering kick speeds blasting throughout the whole thing. They do break it up every once in a while. Salvi Igni, for example, has some interesting snare and cymbal work and some differing kick rhythms, but that's still in between blasts, so we're really going to the moon here. The guitar work is definitely more on the blackened end, though. Aforementioned weenie guitars permeate pretty much the whole record, with more a goal of creating an atmosphere than having the kind of showy, down low death metal vibe. There are some solos though. Sovereign Sanctity leads out nicely with a solo with some atmospheric going on. I really like that. And worry not, the atmospherics are very much in the backseat. Kind of not taken away from the music, just trying to add to things more than steal the show. So, we've talked about some nice things, but let's acknowledge the behemoth in the room. Kind of sounds like Behemoth. But these days, Behemoth doesn't really sound like Behemoth anymore. So, that could be a good thing. If you're not a fan of the new direction Behemoth went, Hate could be a new home for you. So, depending on your stance, it's a pro or a con, which then can lead me into cons. Woo, segue, professional. So the main issue I have with this record is I feel like there's a bit of a wall, kind of, that I can't get through, preventing me from really getting into the record. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending, the wall was built by Polish guys, so it's very sturdy. So first off, the production I'm not the biggest fan of on the record. The guitars sound great, and like I said, they nail that evil sound, but the drums kind of sound a little robotic and really dominate the record a lot. And the atmospherics, while it's nice that they're not front and center, they're not just in the backseat, they're in like backseat middle, the very worst seat. I would have liked to hear them a bit more. I found a lot of times when I was listening to the record trying to commentate on them, I had to squish my sennies in, which you don't want to do. Also, while I like that they injected some more death metal into the drums, I feel like maybe they overcorrected a bit, because Pavillon, who's a great drummer, is most interesting, I think, when he's varying tempos and moving around the kit. And it happens, like on the title track, and it sounds really cool, but it's not as prevalent I like. Blast beats are cool, but sometimes, you know, variety. It helps differentiate the record, song from song. Conclusion time. The first listen I had of the record, I was kind of like, it's a bit generic. But because I have to review it, I listened to it more and more, and I started noticing, hey, there's a bunch going on here besides just blast beats and some high-pitched tremolo picking. Hey, I know what that's called. Weird. But the ultimate problem is I just wish they had maintained a bit better of a balance between the two things, and it would have gone a long way, because there are interesting and cool things going on here besides that. I want more of them. Still, if you're looking for a blackened death outfit that's still full of hate, haha, boo, you said you weren't gonna do that, it sucked. You could do a lot worse than this. And that's why I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 blast beaten skulls. Have fun with that, editors. I don't know how you're gonna pull that one off. So hey, we come to shoutouts. Yay, shoutouts. Everybody loves the shoutouts. I have 3 different bands here of 3 different varying styles. First up, to have things go from the atmospheric black metal, keep things a little related, we've got Temple Kaludra releasing 7 Sirens to a Lost Archetype on Transcending Obscurity. I'm not being weird, that's how it's written. There's 2 exclamation points in the middle there. It's from my tip sheet. If you'd like more bands like that, hey, why not consider supporting us on Patreon? Plug, plug, plug. Number 2, I think Sarah would stab me if I didn't mention that Slowfag put out a new record. They're weird, they're wonderful. Check out New Organon on Cruz del Sur Music. And finally, if you watch my Japanese all-girl metal bands episode, you'll know I like stuff like this. You'll also know I have no idea how you're supposed to buy this, because Japan and getting records over here is weird. But Mary's Blood, great Japanese power metal band, released Confessions, and it's on Takuma Music. Find it if you can. And just one final thing, I'd just like to shout out Allagash. They're from my Metal Monthly series, and they sent me this super awesome t-shirt, and I'm still really digging the record. So if you didn't check that out yet, check it out. And if you checked it out, check it out again. I've been Blayne Smith. This has been another Overkill Reviews. See you next time.